Good day, ladies and gentlemen. This is Sarah van Grenen, aka Mr. VG, and we are at one of the top two most important video series that you would ever do because of this chapter of equations being applied in every single sum in mathematics. So when we talk about equations, ladies and gentlemen, understand that this is what makes maths the most important and amazing and weird place in the world, because it is the only place in life where a left-hand side is equal to a right-hand side, where two things are exactly equal. Think about that. Two things being exactly equal. There's no other place in this world where that happens. When we look at this, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to think about equations as being like a measuring scale, where I've got a left-hand side and I've got a right-hand side. And these two sides have to remain equal for the scale to be balanced. And if you think about this left-hand side and right-hand side, this balancing of the scales, then and only then will you really understand what we are doing. When we talk about a sum, an equation, that is something like 3x equal to 12. Or 3 times by something gives me 12. This is a very simple sum, and I know you are able to just quickly tell me, oh, sir, that something must be 4. Great. That's awesome. Keep it up. But I want you to now think about this in terms of the future of where you are going. Remember, and this is now, I'm saying remember as if you've heard it before, but a lot of you would not know this. So I'm going to share with you some beautiful looking in the crystal ball for your future of maths. There's going to be 3 ways that you can solve this. The way to solve this, ladies and gentlemen, is either by using inspection. That's what most of you have used. You don't even know it. Or to use algebra to solve equations algebraically. And as we go from grade 8 through to grade 9, 10, 11, and 12, and university right at the end, we are going to rely more and more and more on algebraic solving. But please don't worry too much about the big words. Don't let the big words confuse you. I'm going to take you step by step through all of this. The third method, ladies and gentlemen, is graphically. In other words, drawing some kind of graph or some kind of picture that helps you to solve it. Now, inspection, ladies and gentlemen, is a calculated guess. Like 3 times by what gives me 12? What is your guess? That something, that x value must be equal to 4, because 3 times 4 is 12. So inspection, ladies and gentlemen, is a guess. It's using common sense to solve that equation. Now, common sense is fantastic, and you've got to have common sense, but especially going for grade 9, 10, 11, 12, we are going to rely less and less and less on common sense, because common sense will not give us all the possible solutions. And some of the sums are not going to be able to be solved using common sense because those values will be really weird, okay? Algebraic, ladies and gentlemen, is more where we are going to lean on and rely on going from this year right through to university. For us, we are going to use inverse operations to solve algebraically. So what is the inverse operation of times? Well, that is divide. That's kind of the opposite of times. I'm saying that's in inverted commas, okay? So what is the opposite of times? divide. So I'm going to divide both sides by 3 because that's the opposite. That's the inverse operation. And on the left, I've got x being equal to 4. Because on the left, I've got 3 divided by 3, which is 1x. And that is equal to 12 divided by 3, which is 4. Please don't stress about this algebraic at this moment of time. In the coming videos, we're going to dive deeper and deeper into that. Now, algebraically, ladies and gents, I'm not going to look at in this chapter at all, because our graphic solving, because for that we are going to need graphs, which you would not have done at this moment of time at all. So, one of the most important things that you are going to see is that all 3 of these methods of solving equations are applicable at different places. But the very important thing that I promise you your teacher might not spend a lot of time on is validity and credibility of solutions. We don't spend a lot of time on it, but in grade 10, 11, 12, that is very, very, very important. So let's look at my sum. 3 times x equal to 12, and we got x to be 4. Whether you used inspection, guessing, or whether you use algebra, inverse operations, we got x to be 4. First of all, validity. Validity basically asks us, is our left-hand side equal to our right-hand side? Validity, valid. Does it actually solve it? Now, if I look on the left and I substitute 3 times 4, that gives me 12. The right-hand side is 12, so therefore, the left-hand side is equal to the right-hand side. Now, I started writing out the word credibility. Now, credibility, ladies and gentlemen, is kind of one of those things that it's one of those things, ladies and gentlemen, that I'm not going to spend much time on in this sum, because credibility asks us, does the answer make sense? For instance, let's say you are calculating the number of people on a bus, and you get the answer to be 12,5. So therefore, there are 12 and a half people on the bus. Does that answer make sense? No, it doesn't. No matter how short the person is, it can't be a 5 of a person, okay? Or even if they've lost their legs, they're still a full person. So you can't go 12,5 as making sense. So therefore, ladies and gents, I want you to keep this in your mind. Is the answer valid? So does your left equal to your right? And is the sum credible? Is the answer credible? Does it make sense in the scenario where it's placed? I know we're not going to spend much time on it in grade 8 or really grade 9, but grade 10, 11, 12, oh man, your teacher's just randomly going to ask you, check your answers. And also then going to be, does it make sense? So thank you for joining me in this video. In our coming up videos, we're going to dive deeper and deeper into algebraic solving of equations. So this is Mr. VG signing out. Keep well. Cheers.